Hello and welcome to another episode of Skillcraft. I am hanging out in Main Street, the build we did last episode, and the build which is going to allow us to build the rest of this theme park which we have been designing. So last episode I mentioned I wasn't sure which side of the park I wanted to start first. We've got Western or Medieval, but I think I've decided. I don't know how I did that spin, that looked really cool. I just can't wait any longer. I want to have another crack at Western. I'm super excited for Western because it's a style that I really quite like. But before we can get onto any buildings, we've got to fill this entire slot of land with sand. Yep. Just because it rhymes doesn't make it any more fun. Luckily, I do have 4 shulker boxes. I have no idea if this is anywhere near enough, but we're gonna make do. Let's just get started, because this is gonna be a long process. Okay, we now have a big flat area, and you'll notice there's some paths. I did a little bit of kind of planning with where I want the paths. I've gone for a simple textured path. I quite like it. Mud, bit of rooted dirt, fades into jungle, strip jungle, and then strip birch. I think that's a pretty neat little gradient. So you'll probably be able to guess what's gonna go here, considering it's a big long straight line and this is Western, and you know, all Western towns, just you have to go with the straight line. Perfect for a casual little jewel in the middle. So right behind me is going to be the Western town. But before I get to that, I was actually talking with Skill yesterday and he mentioned that I should change out some of these for cherry leaves, and I thought that was a great idea. So I'm just going to go through and exchange some of those out. Trust Skill to always come up with the ideas to add more pink into these builds, and I'm just randomly mixing it in. There's no pattern to this. I think that looks pretty good, just a little bit more variation. I am actually also going to get some that don't have the leaves. And you know what? I'm going to do that for these as well. I'm going to get some non-flowering ones. Don't want to put too many of these regular azalea leaves because obviously I do like the pink. I always want more pink, but there we go. And I did actually have one other little tiny idea, so I feel like now is a great time to do this. I just need to find a little spot. I think here would be good. There we go. A little hot dog stand kind of vibe, but we don't have hot dogs. So instead of put a glowberry, because I feel like they kind of look like candy. It looks like something bad for you, and you know what? That's the kind of thing we want to sell at a theme park. So there we go, and I do actually have a little 3D Rails texture pack, and that looks really good, actually, for like a little hub kind of vibe. Even though, now that I realize it, wouldn't really have that on a candy stand, but you know what? It's fine, we're rolling with it. So over here is our shopping district. Now, there's a new shop that's popped up. Bunny has made this shop and it is lovely, and it sells honeycomb, which is a little low because I did buy her out. I will be waiting for some more. I use a lot of honeycomb. I use a lot of signs that I need to lock, and a lot of copper, and it's just, yeah, I use a lot of honeycomb. But this has inspired me. I think it would be super cool to have another shop around here. We obviously have this one, and it's made a fair bit of cash, but to be honest, it's not the most fun to restock. So I was thinking, what could I sell that people would want and hopefully make a lot of money? And then after coming up with the idea, I figured I wanted to draw this. I thought a great way to plan out my ideas would be to do some concept art. So that's what I've done. This was a great way to really characterize this idea that I had, that initially was quite simple. And if I'd built it in Minecraft straight away, would have been quite simple. But doing it like this really gave it a bit of character that it was kind of missing. And I think that's one of the things that really adds to a Minecraft build. Having that kind of character and story that a normal build might not necessarily have. So my idea was a little food truck that would be selling, well, food, and the obvious thing I've been holding this entire time is golden carrot, hence the yellow color of the truck. And I feel like this could be a bit of a big seller. So naturally I've put it in a very small building with not a lot of space for stock. But hey, that's something we'll figure out. We just need a spot for it, and I'm thinking maybe here could be quite nice. Oh, by the ocean? Yeah, I'm like in this spot here. So I flattened this little area, and as you can see by the reference image, we have like a stone kind of base. But I'm not going to do that at the moment. I think I'm going to leave it for now because I'm not entirely sure how big I want it to be. That depends on the scale of the truck that I build. So I think let's just get started on the truck. Okay, so I've collected kind of the materials I think I might need. So as I was doing the concept art, I've kind of got a bit of an idea of what I think I could do, and I've forgotten the stone cutter. Do I have some? Yes. This is why I always carry 18 with me. So let's obviously start with a bit of a base. So let's go let's go 4 wide, and maybe we'll go 2 wide so we've got an interior, because this is a shop after all. We're gonna need somewhere to put our stock. And then let's do the classic base of any vehicle, and the wheels, of course. Now this is looking quite big, but I think I like that. And you know what, I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna make it bigger. That's a nice shape. I like it. Now I want to do a strip of yellow, and we'll leave the back because I'm thinking this will be the way that we get in to buy our stock. And then I want to go up, and I think I'm going to go with this stripped pale oak. I did bring quartz, but I think I have more of this, and I just think it's a bit of a nicer color. Now, how do I want to do this front? Could this maybe work? Ooh, it looks very, very flat. Very flat. I think if I do this, it rounds it out, but I don't think I like that. How about if we do this, and then I think to just cover up a little bit more, we put some wing mirrors on it. I kind of don't like that the wing mirrors actually make this wall like stick out. Why can't I get up here? So I might just leave it like that. Like, is it crazy not to have the glass? But like, I'm gonna roll with it. Why not? Now, I think we're actually gonna make this one taller, because we're gonna need to like put something on the top of this glass. And I think I actually quite like that, because I do want this to feel kind of cartoonish. And then let's do this for the roof. Hopefully this looks good, because I don't want a fully flat roof, but I would like a somewhat flat roof. Something like that. How are we looking? Very tall, but I quite like it. I like the shape. I think it's very cartoonish. And of course we're going to have a window here, so let's put that in. And I think we're going to offset it, because that's where like the door would be, which I don't think I'm going to put in, but I want to leave room for it to kind of imply that it's there. Or we do that. Yeah, I mean, it looks a little funky right now because obviously everything is quite bare, but I think that could work out quite nicely. And we're going to have to replace that to get rid of all of those ugly stem bits. And you know what, while I'm here, I'll do that, just to smooth that out a little bit. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Next, we need the window bit, and I think I've got a fun idea for this. Just to get a little bit of orange in, we're going to do that. There we go, it's nice and thin, sticks out, adds a little bit of orange. Good stuff. And you know what I just realized we could do? That. Yes, I like that. That actually makes a lot more sense. It feels much better lower. I don't know why I put it that high up. And of course we need some form of canopy to keep everything dry. And I think something like this. Lovely stuff. And I'm going to replace this because that looks real ugly. And let's make this back actually a little bit nicer. Just doing a classic archway, just because we don't need an actual door there. I think that looks good, but it could do with maybe a handle. Yeah, kind of to help you step up, I guess. And a license plate. And I love these bamboo signs for the license plates. It's just a go-to at the moment. And of course, the car's got to see where it's going. So let's use these lights that don't actually really light anything. But that looks really strange with these shaders. But you know what? It'll do. I quite like it. It's very bright. And then for the back, we're going to use the red stained glass. There we go. That's cool. So I think all that leaves is the interior, which is going to be a bit of a struggle. This is not There's not a lot of room for all my stock. I mean, we've got to have the classic furnace and detector rails. And I think in terms of actual stock, we're going to store it in these barrels up here. Hopefully 3 is enough. I mean, we might be able to work another couple into the design. And I feel like this needs to be divided a little bit, so maybe we do something like that. And then we'll get a chair. Because, of course, we need to be able to drive this thing. And for this gap, I'm just going to plug that up. There we go. And I'm actually thinking we could change this floor out. So we can still have the andesite on the outside, but we can have a different floor. I like that. Little something like this. And it's actually getting dark, which is reminding me I need to figure out how to light this up. And all I really had on me was candles, so that will do. I actually quite like that. Maybe we could do with like a lantern up here or something. I went and got them and left them at my base. See, this is what happens. Oh my, this is what happens when we're lazy. There is just a horde of zombie. Oh my good. Okay, I'm gonna be taking this and flying away. Oh my goodness, there is so much here. God, now I just have all this crap on me. And you know what? I think we've got everything we can in here. We can't really fit much more. 3 barrels should be enough for all of my stock. We just need a sign telling everyone what we sell. Golden carrots, 1 diamond per stack. I think that's a fair price. Don't really know what a fair price is though, to be honest. And I've kind of gone with dark oak, kind of hoping that it looks a bit like the blackboard. It's the best we got for Minecraft. So you know what? I think I'm going to call the main bit done. Now I just need a floor or something. You know what? That's not particularly exciting, so I'm going to skip to the final product. Okay, I am all ready for my shift and the food truck. This is a completed build, and you actually have to have very long arms to use it, I'm realizing now. But we've added a few more little things, and there is in fact one more thing that I want to add to the top because it is missing the food sign, obviously. We need some way to advertise what we're selling, and I've got an idea for that. But we just got a couple tables out front. I went for a big checkerboard design, and I also changed out the slabs because they blended in too much with the floor. And this random painting in the background, which I feel like color-wise kind of added. It might be too big, but I don't really care. It looks cool. I've never seen that one before, but it looks very cool. Is it like a knight fighting a skeleton dinosaur? Because that's what it looks like, and that's cool. I actually kind of want that in my room in real life now. And of course, I had to put on a little apron because, you know, who else is going to be working here? Unfortunately, this hasn't made any diamonds yet, so I can't hire staff. So it's just me for the time being. And I tried a whiteboard design using an armor stand. As you can see, it's just holding up a black carpet, and it's a little wonky. I couldn't get it straight because it's just real awkward, but it looks fine. I initially tried a dark oak trapdoor, but it just didn't look right. I think it's fine. I just really wanted a blackboard sign like standing out the front so you can put like the day's specials on and stuff. It just felt like it needed it, and you know what, that worked fine. So now for the sign on top, I think I want to use a golden carrot on an armor stand, nice and big, just sat up there, and it might take a little bit of positioning, but I think we can make it work. So there we go. I think that looks perfect, and actually wasn't too difficult. Lovely stuff, and the sun is setting on us. Oh, love this. And it's actually quite funny if I reveal the armor stand. It's giant. Kind of makes me want to make like a big Attack on Titan thing or something, like just giant armor stand just looking over like a tiny city. That would be sick. But for now, we're going to hide it, and I've got it locked so I can't break it. And that should be everything. So now all we need is, well, all stock, which I have been working on in the background. So let's head over there after I dump my inventory because it's a bit of a mess. So I haven't been there. Ooh, the apron with the actual armor. This looks a little better. So I haven't been here in a while, but this is my villager area. And as you can see, it's a little bit worse for wear because I've kind of neglected it. Yeah, I don't come here often. But this guy has carrots. And I've also expanded this area. This is where I've been getting all my bricks. And over here we have all of the carrots. And I think they are all leveled up. And for some reason this one is charging me extra. Oh, that one's not leveled up. Well, we ignore that one. That guy was rude. And I've been collecting a few carrots just as I've been here. So I'm pretty much just going to be doing this for a little while. And hopefully we can get enough stock to get started, and I'm not paying those extra prices. 5 emeralds for a bread. See, this is why I haven't leveled this guy up. He hates me, and I don't know why. Okay, I've been trading for a little bit, and we have this much. And I kind of got bored, but this should be enough to open the shop for now. That is quite a lot, actually. Hopefully my prices are not too cheap and this goes immediately, because then I have to restock, which would be annoying. But I do kind of feel like that's going to happen because every shop that gets made on this server, like, immediately sells out because people are just that desperate for everything. And let's organize them at least a little bit. We'll do that for each chest. So that is all of our stock. And to be honest, I might be dipping into some of it a little bit. But there we go. I really like this little build. This is looking so cool. Oh, I just love this. I love the shape. I love how, like, cartoonish it is. I'm really glad I lent into that kind of cartoonish look, which I probably wouldn't have done without the concept art. Because doing that just allows me to just be a bit more free with my ideas and then figure out how to do it later in Minecraft. So I'm pretty proud of this build, just a nice little shop. But now we've got other things to attend to. So I've changed back to my other outfit. Because we have the western area to return to, I want to get in the very first building and possibly the most important building. Of course, we have to have a saloon. It wouldn't be a western town without one. So yet again, I returned to make some concept art because it was just super fun. So, as I've mentioned before, I've built in the Western style before. Way back in Skillcraft Season 1, I made a Western town very similar to this, and of course, I was a lot worse at building, as you can tell by this screenshot. Although I am still very proud of that saloon, I quite like the shape, and I want to kind of build something that's similar, kind of in memory of that build, and as I said, still like it. But of course, we're going to be updating it with all of my new building techniques and ideas, and hopefully it should look pretty good, especially working from both the original design and my concept art. So let's just get started. I reckon it is going to be going right here, and I think I'm going to do this one as a time lapse. So there we have it, our very first building, the start of our brand new town, and I'm obsessed with it. I love this one. I love how this turned out. It is so much better than my original, and I'm actually kind of glad that it is. Because I'll admit I was a little bit nervous that I would just end up looking the same, and that would be a tiny bit embarrassing, but I really like how this turned out. And I love the way it just sits on this corner. It feels so much bigger. It's a lot bigger than my original design, and that just, yeah, it's just so much nicer. We've got plenty of room for an interior, which I'm not going to do at the moment because this video has already taken quite a while to make. And the culprit for that, this stuff right here, that, the beehive, that took an insane amount of time to actually get. I used so much just in that little bit. It basically just goes around the top, and it's like a 5% chance per tree that I grow, and there's about 40-ish there. So yeah, it took a little while to get that stuff. So that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited for the rest of this build now that we've actually made a start on it. But as we come in here, it's also starting to look pretty cool. I'm very excited for this. So if you liked the video, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next episode, maybe leaving a like, commenting, and I hope you enjoyed.